ready if you're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
Woo!
I hope our volume.
Oh yeah, I can hear me. Oh yeah, there I am. There I am. Hey,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. And welcome to the Cowboys CanFan podcast.
Hey.
Actually, you know what? It's non-alcoholic, but we're still gonna crack
You
it.
can crack. Hey, look, this is not an alcohol-only cast. You can
Woo,
crack 'em if
crack
you
'em if you got
got
'em.
you want. But except for maybe don't do the drug crack, but that's just like my personal preference.
People might have tuned in at one point and thought you were on crack.
That's
so
true.
You can't be telling anybody what to do
Maybe some H.
with their drug choices.
We got H next, bro.
Hey, we got a guest here, Nate Dogg, the decade guest. Nate, I got some news for you though.
Yes.
We've gotten rid of the numbers before episodes, so we don't know even what episode we're on.
Well, this is what happened. We started to care more about audio, and then I looked at audio. We thought we were only on episode 99.
Yeah.
We're already on 134. So
Well, the way that it worked for me was you guys just put the signal up in the sky, and I just responded.
yeah, I know.
Oh, and actually, well,
Hey, give him a hey yo.
I was just gonna do that. Yep.
Hey, yo.
There he is.
Over here.
It's just two.
Rest in peace, Scott Hall.
AJ just leaving him hanging.
Yes, well.
Sorry, I'm looking. I pulled an Adam.
You pulled an Adam. You were too into it. Okay, so we got Nate Dogg in his A. We got the bandwagon boys over there feeling a little crazy. Anthbest here on the couch. A lot of Cowboys news has happened prior or since that Houston Texans game.
Yup.
We've signed a couple guys. We've lost some guys to injuries, and we have a key or a Cowboy that's been a key player for the last 10 years coming back this weekend. So AJ, if you want to give us a little rundown of some of these guys, the signing today,
Sure.
some of the injuries, we'll get that out of the way before we jump into anything else.
Well, let's just look at what happened last game. We had Terence Steele.
Terence Steele.
Terence Steele. I
Or-
mean,
or
look,
Tyrone.
I tried.
Or Ty-
They're all
or-
T.
They're all T's.
T Steele.
T Steele.
We had T Steele exit with a pretty much season-ending
Torn
injury,
ACL.
torn ACL. So he's gone.
He
Been
done.
playing very well. Had like a really good rank.
Dare I say Pro Bowl season?
Could have been, and maybe
You can
still,
say it now.
maybe still can be actually with the amount of games. So that's a big void to fill. Then we also went out and signed TY Hilton, wide receiver, and
Woot woot.
and also picked up off the waiver wire
Oh.
Trayvon Mullen, a cornerback, and I don't know what team he played for.
He was with
previous.
The Raider?
No, he had been on the Raiders. I'm pretty sure he got drafted by the Raiders, but I believe he was with the Cardinals this year. Yeah, he was with the Cardinals this year. He got drafted by the
Yeah.
Raiders in the second round. This year he was with the Cardinals. He got nixed. He got actually traded to the Cardinals this year for a 7th round pick. Obviously, it didn't work out. But with us having some injuries, it looks like we're just signing a couple dudes because last week we signed, who's that? Mackenzie Alexander.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're just getting a couple depth pieces. Obviously, the guy was good enough to warrant a 2nd round pick a couple years ago. Who knows? You put him in there and hopefully he finds some life. Another injury that we had, again on the defense this time, was Hankins, who we traded to the Raiders or traded with the Raiders for. He's out. He might be back for playoffs, but he is he's suffered a pectoral strain and he's going to be out for the rest of the season too, which sucks because he was starting to get a little bit of life and come on a little bit. So it's shitty that it's shitty because we've stayed pretty healthy the whole season, minus that Dak injury week 1. But the Cowboys had stayed pretty healthy most of the season, and now we're getting some pretty big name injuries. Anthony Brown, Gonzo. Terence Steele, Gonzo. Hankins, Gonzo, right? So it's starting to hurt. Luckily, we have our big, bad future Hall of Famer, first ballot, Tyron Smith coming back to kind of save the day. Luckily, we got lucky there.
So the way I look at all of this, Mullen, I mean, we'll see what he can do. Like you mentioned, is he going to be a kind of direct? Is he the Band-Aid for Andrew Brown? We're going to find that out really quickly. But at least he could play more of a depth position, and we can utilize the guys on the team. Jordan, fucking not best. Yeah, Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis out too for season.
All right. Oh shit. Boss man fat.
Yeah, Kelvin Joseph.
Kelvin Joseph. God damn it.
AJ, are you okay? We need to.
I haven't got stoned enough. That's the problem.
Get smoking. You haven't unlocked your powers.
Smoke weed every day.
But that kind of filled the void, at least on paper. The more concerning one is on the front line for both offensive defense. Hankins, yeah, we signed him during the season. He played well, though. He was a nice big body defender. And him being injured just means that again, one of the guys who were already on the team now have to step up into that position.
Yep.
So I think the depth is there. The biggest concern, though, is on the O-line in replacing a in and out game starter in Steele. Now, I think signing Peters was now one of the more brilliant moves that the Cowboys have done this season.
Yep.
And you can almost expect that, but which position is it that's going to happen? So that really it made this injury a lot less significant.
Yeah, so that's it with a couple things. Obviously, that Peter signing was massive because he's so versatile. He's going to be playing right tackle. He's played right tackle. He started out at left guard. He played a little bit of left tackle. So he's filled in at 3 spots on the offensive line. And with him being there, Jason Peters now will be manning Terence Steele's spot. Tyler Smith, their first overall pick last year, is going to be at hopefully the left guard, and then Tyron Smith can come back to his position at left tackle. We shouldn't have that much drop off, honestly.
You know what I like about this too is that
Also,
as well. Yeah. Thank you, Nate. Yeah. I'm not I trust your opinion more than mine because I'm just a paper looker kind of guy, and then we watch the games I tune out involuntarily.
No, voluntarily you tune out.
I voluntarily get to the point where I involuntarily tune out.
That's correct. I like that.
That's some deep shit going on right now.
That's a choose your own adventure right there.
Yep.
Those were great.
Those were the Goosebumps one.
Yeah, I think Tyler Smith I think he's gonna play a little bit of some role because McGregor is gonna be. He's pretty much a McGovern. Dude, help me out.
You're killing me. I don't know. When you said McGregor, I had to think what we were talking about.
Earlier, like Tyron Steele, and I'm like, is he talking about Tyron Smith or is he talking about Terence Steele? I don't know which one.
You know about as much about the Cowboys as I do.
I know.
Nate Dog, Sam Fran fan in the house. Shout out, Sam Fran. Shout out.
Brock Purdy.
The point is good, I think, though.
So you're thinking McGovern.
I think he's less versatile. So in a pinch, when you have to fill a part of the line, Rookie Smith is going to be the one who is the more versatile player at this point, from what I've seen. Now, maybe Mick G can roll as well, but he hasn't done it as much. He's been kind of stuck in that left guard, right guard role. So
any first-time listeners, AJ's usually on point with his names. He's getting vape 10 right now. We're gonna get him back there. But I do like what you're saying. McGovern is gonna be the odd man out. Tyler Smith should easily go back to left guard. He practiced it all training camp. He's played a little bit there. Tyron Smith has always been since he was drafted at 20 years old, has been a great left tackle. So I'm not too concerned with the offensive line right now, unless like Tyron Smith. He's had a bunch of injuries the last few years. My most concerning factor with the offensive line going forward is Tyron Smith comes back and he gets hurt again, and then we're kind of in a little bit of trouble. But that's something I'm not going to worry about. I hope he comes back and he can just stay healthy for these next 4 games, and then the 4 games or 3 games it takes us to get to the Super Bowl, baby.
Well, when originally Smith was injured, was there a date? I thought they said early December was when they...
Well, he's playing Dallas Week 15 game at Jacksonville.
Yeah, but early December...
Yeah, that's kind of the timeline they had. As soon as
he's on time.
Yeah, he's on time. I think his injury, he had the muscle rip off his bone, basically.
Eesh.
So he's back, baby.
But... regardless, it doesn't feel like this was rushed. Timing is everything in the NFL, really, or plays a lot of it in terms of like player personnel moves. And so this was just kind of a terrible, beautiful accident. Like, we lose the guy on the right side, but the guy on the left side's coming back.
Yeah, so. it's very, very lucky. Very lucky.
If I gave it to you the other way, which way would you want it?
What do you mean?
Like, so either you have Steele or Smith in, or So like if you could have it either way, you'd probably want.
I would. I know this isn't the right answer. Not what you asked me at all. But I want both of them. But Tyron Smith's a Hall of Famer, right? Terence Steele is just starting his NFL. Career. You got to take the Tyron Smith if I had to.
Well, do you want weird thing? Do you want Steele? Sorry, do you want Steele? Would you rather have it reversed where Steele is playing, Steele is out and then comes back and Smith goes out at the end of the season?
No,
I'd rather have it this way.
You'd rather have the guy with the experience.
You saying you want both is like Jerry Jones saying today
Salt
that
it up.
He wants
Extra
Dak Prescott to be aggressive, but he doesn't want the turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey Nate, did you watch the Houston game? The Cowboys Houston game?
I did. I started watching it. I was watching you guys on the podcast or listening to you guys on the podcast, watching it, and it looked good at the beginning. Then it didn't look so good, and then you came, you saw, you conquered.
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. I'm kind of ready to move past that game. I'm glad you got to win the ugly ones in the NFL.
Those are the ones that you learn a lot of lessons. You learn, you really kind of bond as a team, I think, in those sort of we need to fucking win this fucking game. This is a one and whatever goddamn team here.
So
they were switching out quarterbacks on it's like that was fucking ridiculous.
They were doing the old Steve Young, Joe Montana.
Look, I don't know if that plays good or bad into it. It was kind of like
it never works.
No, to me it was playing out like a Disney high school football movie where it's like we have these two battling QBs who weren't friends and they're competing, but they come together and then because you got the speed and I got the arm, and we come together and we beat those dirty Dallas whatever they would be called, Dallas Colts they'd be called,
because they couldn't be the Cowboys. The last thing I'll say about the game, and I watched because I did rewatch the game, and then I did watch actually last night. I watched the Jaguars Titans game, but it was crazy. I didn't realize it because I was drunk in the fourth quarter. I didn't realize how close we are to losing that game. When Dak throws that interception late in our own end zone or our own zone, with what was it? I think 3 minutes left. They're first and goal. If they score there and they go up 30-20. You're slugging it out now. Like
against any team that has
tough.
More than one win. That probably is a loss.
So we got pretty lucky with this DeMarcus Lawrence play on 3rd and goal. He basically knifed right through. Shout out to CanFan Instagram page. If for anyone listening, we are just on our Instagram page right now looking. Hey, and if this is your first time on the YouTube or are we on TikTok right now?
Of course we are.
Or on the TikTok, leave us whatever they are the likes on TikTok. Diamonds, likes, whatever. And then if you're on the YouTube, give us a thumbs up. But this DeMarcus Lawrence play.
And actually, if you're on TikTok, you're only really getting the one camera feed. On the YouTube, you're seeing screens and it's a little bit more of a show. We haven't really fully incorporated the TikTok. It's kind of just leeching off of our main show. So but much love. We got some good activity happening. A lot of questions. We'll try to get to all the questions on both platforms.
Give us some questions.
I have a question.
You finish
Nate Dogg's got a question.
Is Kilo in the chat?
Oh, Kilo goes between both chats.
Hell yeah, Kilo. Kilo's with us right now.
Can you make him mod in the TikTok?
Kilo C and his A.
But no, just to go back to that point. Huge stop. 4 minutes left in the game because
they score here. You're in some tough sledding.
That's tough.
And one of the things that I love and I continue to like kind of look forward to, and it's almost like a Christmas every week, is the sounds of the sidelines. It's a little mini. It's a little mini Hard Knocks adventure for the game.
It's like 6 minutes usually, something like that. 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes.
I get disappointed when it's only 6 minutes. Like I want to listen to a little bit more about it.
Well, this one was interesting because every fucking quarterback should be saying what Dak was saying, but like they get to produce it after the fact, so the emotion like goes with the game. So they show the Cowboys playing well. Then there was the big catch on the sideline. That kind of, the fumble definitely changed the momentum of the game right away too early. Turpin's botch of the punt. But there was that big catch on the sideline too. That guy made that was a questionable catch for the Texans and kind of moved them down the field. So I don't know if they scored in that drive. But anyways, they played into that whole scenario, and then the big stop and turn. It was almost like this. They make it like this little.
They make it a little movie.
Yeah.
It was sweet. But yeah, the defense bailed us out this game. Obviously, Dak still had to go down in 98 yards and score a touchdown, which was great. He had a great final drive, but if we don't stop them here on this third and goal and fourth and goal, we're fucked.
The Houston game was a good bookend. The first drive was fantastic. The last drive was fantastic. That's all we can really want.
And my last thing that I'll say about Houston that I need to say is,
You can say whatever you want. It's your show.
A quarterback definitely should be judged on their play, their consistency in their play, but even more so, a guy like Tom Brady, and not to make any comparisons, but he has had a career that's been like pinpointed by these drives.
Not last week.
No, not
that's because Dak took his magic. Maybe, I don't know, but that's what people are going to remember you for. Not for your hard battle 28-23 victory where you kind of were underwhelming, but for driving 98 yards down a field. Like those drives are going to stick out way more. And you'll never. I've learned it this year. You're just never going to convince some people otherwise, no matter what they bring to the table. They're set in, they're dug in, and that's totally fine. But those plays to me stand out and help to convince me that like we have what we need in that position to go out and get a score when we need to score.
Well, Mike McCarthy in the locker room at the end of the game, he does his speech at the end of the game, obviously like all NFL coaches do, but he said that game, don't think about what happened throughout it, think about what happened at the end. That type of win will pay dividends going forward.
Absolutely.
Meaning you're down, shit hasn't been going right all game.
Yeah.
But in that situation, you can't be thinking about the stuff that happened right now. You got to go and you got to march that 98 yards and you got to score a touchdown and win the game. And they did it.
It's almost like teams need that.
Yeah, just to feel it.
They need a Houston game this late in the season.
Well, I think there's
forward positively,
and specifically coming into the Jags this weekend.
Sure,
but there's a reason why the best team in leagues pretty much across the board don't win at a consistent rate the championship, right? Like the best team in the league
doesn't always win the Super Bowl.
Typically not the one who wins.
Yes, first seeded teams. I think I'm just gonna say a stat that's probably not even close, but it's got to be somewhere probably around
CanFan folklore.
CanFan folklore. I'm saying like 30%. Like first seed, because I had said it actually one time. I was like, you don't even really want the first seed, and someone was like, well, that's kind of a weird take, but if you look stat wise, I don't think the first seed gives you a better chance to walk away with the Super Bowl than if you're the sixth seed or the fifth seed, right?
But in all sports as well, this is my theory: is you've made it, and you've probably shut some things down to conserve them the last week or two. Not a lot, but then you get that extra week gap in football. And the other team...
You mean like the bye?
The bye week. You get that first week bye. So now you're technically... Some of your guys could be sitting for 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending on how that plays out.
Oh, you're saying if... Okay, so...
The other team is battling for that last week, so everyone's out there playing. They never leave football pace. And so, sometimes you want to rest your players, but it can't... Like, we've all... played sports minorly. Having that break can set, like when you're on a roll, when you're feeling good, having that break can like fuck your mojo up. It's not an easy thing to like not play a game and then come back to a championship game and the other team has been battling, right? Because you're going to be playing more than likely one of the low ranked teams who had to win a spot.
Yeah.
You want me to?
Fuck you, dickhead.
That's just a time. You see me giving you looks. Let's get some chat. Let's get some.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up. So I don't know. I know you guys got some stuff prepped, and this is one of them. Let's just get to the biggest news of the week: the signing of TY Hilton. Everyone in the chats wants to know our opinion on it on both sides, TikTok and
we love
YouTube.
it. If he's got anything left in the tank, we love it. It's not going to hurt. It doesn't hurt us. He's on a 1-year deal for $800,000. It doesn't hurt us. We had the cap
600 and
even 600. We're on the. I was saying in Canadian dollars.
Oh yeah.
We got the cap space. There's nothing to not like about it. Like there's no risk.
This is EJ Savage says this, and I really like his response here. Love the TY Hilton signing for a few reasons. First, he's the only real vet on this team's receiving corps, allowing him to come to Kellen or Dak, explain how the defense is covering and how to beat it.
True.
Second, he's very good at finding soft spots in the zone coverage, and lastly, he's got the ability to go over the top for the end for the deep shots along the sidelines to moss him out.
Yep.
He didn't say the moss him out thing. I thought I had to say the moss
he
him out
added
thing,
it.
but yeah, I added it.
Oddly enough, I felt this was like one, and I could just be looking in the right places under the right rocks, but this was the least controversial move the Cowboys have made this year, maybe.
For sure.
Like I didn't see a lot of people hating on it, and I think the price tag had a lot to do with it. But like EJ just mentioned there, the experience that he can bring, and I also look at it as like CD's entering another part of his career here potentially where he's not really done this before as a leader, so he's gonna have someone to lean on who's played in big games and played with great quarterbacks.
Fair.
I mean, CD in a game like against Houston, he was five receptions for 33 yards. Like, he was a ghost.
Yeah, but
He wasn't. I mean, obviously, it's not all CD Lamb's fault, but could we see more production the way that you put a vet like Amari Cooper on the team, and then all of a sudden CD Lamb starts to kind of.
I mean, we can't go from saying we thought CD's now showing up to then. I mean, he had a bad game.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, I'm not saying he's.
I'm not even saying a bad game. I just don't think anyone offensively had a very good receiving game.
Until the end, until that last drive, Schultze wasn't doing much.
No one. I don't think anyone was.
Right? No, he dropped. How many in the last 5 games? Schultze's dropped a touchdown pass in 4 of the 5 games.
Oof.
I think is the stat.
Tough.
Wow.
Four out of the 4 games. 4 times he's dropped in the last 5 games.
That's not good.
He's still the leader of the clone zone, though.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Actually, the clone zone was kind of quiet. Clone zone was
very
quiet.
Ferguson got injured in that
Got
one
hurt.
too.
That's true.
Which I didn't notice, but
Said he's questionable, so he'll be playing this
he'll
week.
be playing. Yeah, but look, again, not worried about that quiet game, and I think TY is going to be able to bring some of that. I mean, look, Washington's coming back too, so suddenly our wide receiver core.
Got a couple vets. So the thing that you said least controversial, which is very not like the Cowboys in prior seasons. Usually they're looking for the OBJ signing, and this is like the complete opposite of what the OBJ signing would have been. Right? This is completely. I didn't even think of this at all.
It was out of. It really felt like it was out of nowhere, and I don't. Crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him, son.
Does it count?
Yeah, fuck yeah, it counts, baby.
I didn't.
Getting high on life over here, son.
I didn't hear any whispers of this.
No, I mean they must have had it in their back pocket for.
Well, can I just throw out a comparison here?
And we don't need to hear year and ad sizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
We all know where that's
it's
going.
Canadian inches.
He's on the metric system or something. I think.
But just real quick, over the last 4 years, and we don't need to break down his numbers because that's just going to be a bunch of numbers coming at you. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's was thrown to by 5 different quarterbacks, Luck being the best of them.
Wow.
And then Rivers, I guess, would be this.
Rivers was pretty good for the Colts.
Rivers was good, but the other 3.
He's still Rivers, though.
Yeah, still Rivers.
Jacoby Brissett was pretty good too. Hoyer journeyman, Wentz perennial fucking
Millennial worst ever.
Yeah,
but he's playing on an NFL team.
Yeah.
But he had his last 4 years were very comparable to OBJ's last 4 years. And I know the argument with OBJ is that he wasn't getting thrown to by a good quarterback in Cleveland.
By the way, I got to interrupt you.
Yep.
You brought up his name. I love you, OBJ. I apologize.
Remember Nate Grim Reapered him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I apologize about
Nate he had to say sorry.
I only feel good about the Jimmy Garoppolo Grim Reaper. Only one I feel good about.
And that's your kin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I know what you're saying here. Like and the risk of signing OBJ. If we're thinking of going for a long-term deal compared to what we're doing here, we're just locked into a 1-year deal. And OBJ wasn't even probably going to play this year.
You're bringing OBJ onto the team because you're expecting him to really affect a game, and you're bringing TY Hilton because you're expecting him to affect a play or two.
Yeah,
and if OBJ came in, we're looking at people wanting to see him with 10 targets, 80 to 100 yards. What's TY's expectations?
Yeah.
minimal.
Yeah, minimal. Anything he gets, everyone will be excited about.
Yeah, so it's like it's actually in hindsight, which is always the best way to look at things.
2020, they
It's
say.
always 2020. I don't know if that's even the best eye vision.
It's not.
Arguably, it's not.
No.
It's not.
It's 60-32. I don't know, but I think this is the best fit for what's available out there, and I'm actually really excited to
See him shake his
see what happens. Yeah,
his tail feather.
There it's going. Here's a question I have for
hear
y'all.
it. Let's
With
hear it.
all the shaking up, are we going to be seeing a significantly different Cowboys team, positive or negatively, or are these minimal effects?
To me, the biggest thing we should be doing is running. So yeah, it's great to get these wide receivers, but I want to be running the ball. Like our offense has shown that we're better when we're running the football. It scares me when we go back and throw the ball. I haven't felt this way with Dak Prescott until probably this season. I get a little bit nervous right now when Dak drops back to throw. So I'm hoping with some of these injuries, maybe we decide to stick to the running game a little bit more, where we've had consistency the whole season.
Well, I mean, so I agree with you about Dak. I do like that he has been playing a little bit more aggressive this season. Seen him scramble a bit more. The interceptions, obviously, he's eight interceptions in the last since
9
he's been
games.
back 9 games. So he's 14 for 8. Concerning, but if we look at all of the interceptions, and I was gonna try to see if we could prep it, but it's like go through all the interceptions this year. How many of them were truly Dak's fault? And how
I was
many of
thinking
them are
about
the
that.
receivers?
I was thinking about that on the drive over here.
It's, I mean, obviously you could say half and half, but it's like Dak Prescott isn't known to have massive amount of interceptions in a season.
I think this might be one of his most.
He's on track.
I think
he's on track.
He's definitely on track for his most. I don't know if
Look, so
11 might be his most.
Sorry, what I was gonna, well, yeah, what I was going to ask I mean, it's his first podcast, so he doesn't know to mute his phone.
I have random alarms.
Is that the rain? Are we getting the storm?
Yeah, is it
here?
stormy? Is it raining outside?
storm. No, actually, that was a ring to say that I was correct in my.
Yeah.
in my thought.
there it is.
What I was going to say is like the interceptions. I'd be curious this year. Out of the 8 interceptions, can we find out who his targets were for those 8 interceptions?
That's going to take a little.
Yeah,
time.
that won't be a today.
If
thing.
someone has written that article, though,
I'm sure it is.
Well,
Yeah,
I know. I can think of Green Bay, Schultz.
You know what? Chat's going to hit us up with
Green Bay was Schultz and CD, and then he had 2 last week, but I can't even remember who he was throwing to. My guess he was throwing to.
I felt one off Noah's hands.
Yeah, Noah. He was throwing to Noah, and then who knows? Schultz will say, "Fuck Schultz."
hang on. There we go.
AJ, when you can, you want to
Oh yeah, I'm going
toss one of them sweet.
Hey, I got AJ doing work
the
right
man his-
now.
So AJ has a Twitter post up here right now, and it says Zeke and Pollard are trending towards 1K rushing yards this season. Would be the first time in Cowboys history to have 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Now
That's surprising to me because there was a
It
couple.
is.
There was crack him if you got him over
got
there.
him.
There was a couple years with Marion Barber and Julius Jones, who both were more than capable of running for more than 1,000 yards. I'm surprised neither of those guys in a season rushed for both 1,000 yards. So this year, what are their stats right now? How many do they each have?
I'll pull that up. I did look at that because I was interested, of course. Anything that has stats, I just get a real rock hard pulse going.
I think we need to do whatever it takes to get these 2 guys to 1,000 yards. Let's go heavy on the run. Let's get Malik Davis 1,000 yards too while we're at it.
Just triple it up.
TP20's for sure gonna get 1,000.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it Malik? Usually I hear one of you guys say Malik.
Alex, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
One of us?
I didn't want to just I didn't want to.
I say
I didn't wanna
Malik
guess.
Davis.
Yeah, he
Or
says
Malik.
Malik. He says
Malik
Malik.
Davis.
Malak Davis.
Yeah.
Malik.
I also want to say I think that secretly.
Crack him if you got him, son. We're
got him.
feeling it. We're cracking him.
I want to say I think secretly Jason Peters might have been the best sort of unheralded pickup by any team this year.
Hell yeah.
To pick up a guy like that for your offensive line where you always need.
And he's 40, and like a lot of teams just stayed away from him.
Yeah.
He had a good year against the, with
he
the
doesn't
Bears
have to
last
play
year.
all the time
No.
anymore, but I mean, if he
No,
can
he
fill
doesn't.
in for this guy,
Dude.
this guy.
Well, he's
Exactly.
going to be playing. He's going to be playing a
Now
lot.
he's playing a lot, but I mean,
A versatile O lineman is the position that you stack as much as you can.
Sure.
right?
Who would you
Like,
rather have?
depth,
Jason
depth.
Jason Peters, or would you rather have
Josh Ball.
Yeah, some
Which we
fucking
got.
asshole.
Which we got, Josh Ball.
Yeah.
Well,
Is he the third Paul brother?
No, Ball.
Adam Paul's the third Paul brother.
so if we look at just winding back to offense here, we are bouncing back.
Well, we
like
are
an
on offense.
elastic
We're talking
band.
about the line, the core of that offensive
Yeah, that's true.
drive.
So
But,
back to you.
Pollard and Zeke. So Tony Pollard 894 yards. So he's only 106 away.
He's getting 1,000.
He's
getting
gonna get
How
it.
many times has that happened in the NFL?
What?
Where two backs got 1,000 yards?
Enough. Let
Four.
me look.
4 times?
No, I don't know. It just sounds better when one of us has an answer because we look like we know a lot. But I just
Sorry to throw you guys off, but I mean,
No,
that's
okay.
a question that kind
check
of
it.
came there.
Well, AJ's looking it up. I'll
Yeah,
continue with this.
continue, yeah.
So,
7 pairs.
7 times. So that's not very.
That's not very much.
It's hard to do.
Dallas Cowboys Chris is in the house on TikTok.
What up, Chris? What up, Chris? What up, Chris?
But what we want to look at here, guys, is their yards per game. So Tony Pollard, 106 yards, 4 games left.
he's getting it.
He's going to get it. It's Zeke here who's got quite he's at
needs a big game.
716 yards. So he's only averaging 65 yards a game. Now, I didn't go ahead and look at his last few games, but he's been able to rip off some big 100-yard games. So if he does a couple of those and just keeps pace with his average, he's going to do it. But he
needs a little help to get
needs
to
a little
1,000.
help. So, but he's been running really fucking well, really
Been hitting
strong.
it. He's been running hard.
Agile.
They're both 9 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Man, I love this shit. Just keep giving these dudes the ball. Just
Well, it's not even that. Like,
keep going with it.
Running leads to play action. Play action is unbeatable.
And yeah, play action and time of possession
Yeah,
that wins
and
you
time of
football
possession,
games.
Yeah, absolutely.
and you look at M. Davis here.
He's gonna
And
need some help.
He's gonna need some help. But even him, he's only ran 8 times, but it's that average. So there's some consistency here of above 4, and then I mean Pollard is just a fucking
Beast.
beat like a nightmare. When he gets the ball, he can just break.
You got
So
19 touchdowns from your backfield. That's incredible.
That's not bad. We'll take it.
Holy
Absolutely.
fuck.
Are we dragging AJ outside
that
and
should have
beating
been
him?
turned off.
Sorry that you have something better to do than on a slotted time.
Don't worry. The third time it goes. The third time it goes off is gonna be the
It's
best.
that one.
All 3 of your friends are here. Who can be
Yeah, who's texting you, Steve?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Can I please have your attention?
That's
Yep.
basically what you say when you ring.
I thought you were going to chat.
I thought you were going
Oh,
to
you know what? I will go to say something to chat because Dakman in chat brought up what I wanted to say about Jason Peters. I think my favorite part about Jason Peters, and a lot of people are chiming in and be like, "Oh, I agree." The fact when you see him on Sounds of the Sideline and he's right in there with the guys, and you know he's like they're talking. He's either doing coaching stuff. Like it's that's probably my favorite part is when you see him, the big beard, the fucking eye paint, the nose breather.
And
like
the guy's like the biggest human on the planet.
He's a
he's
big-
a fucking. He's
a
like
big
the size
fucking
of the
dude.
door, man.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a big fucking dude.
Well, you
He's a
see him
big
when
man.
he's out there.
Yeah, when he was playing guard and it looked like there was a Volkswagen parked in the middle of the field. Like if the guard looks bigger than the tackle, that's kind of weird. And he's just
40?
huge. Yeah, he's 40. Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And they're playing him a right percentage. He's probably going to have an uptick now, but hey, I do have a question just
We'll go ahead
because
and ask it.
just because we're sitting here and I'm looking at stats. What's up with Tolbsky?
Oh, I don't even know. The guy's
Is he? I think and
Jalen Tolbert. We're
so-
talking about.
Yeah. So there was some exactly
or,
there was
or Tolbert.
there were
Tolbert.
some
Tolbert.
there was a comment online about obviously it was just nonsense, but the Cowboys are if they don't have Tolbert playing, it's a bust draft, and I'm like it was a wasted draft pick, and I'm like yeah, so what? But like draft picks are not like certainties. After I think the second
You
round,
can pick a first overall that doesn't pan out.
right, but they arguably
Yeah.
the Cowboys in these last say 3 years
Yep.
where I've been seeing them, their rookies are performing well. What was that stat? 20 or 21 of the starters were
In their first 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at this draft.
22 Leatherman.
Looking tough. So you have even just this draft.
There it is.
You have this draft, Tyler Smith, our first overall pick, lots of playing time. Our second round pick, defensive end Sam Williams, has had impactful plays. Third round, obviously, is Jalen Tolbert, who hasn't played that great. Fourth round, we took Fergalicious. Fifth round, we got Damone Clark. And then undrafted, we got Hendershot. So we had a very good draft. If one of the 8 picks hasn't been playing up to his draft status, I'm not too worried about it. If we've hit on the first 4 rounds, we hit 3 of the 4.
Okay, well, just look at this: Smith, Williams, Ferguson, Bland, Clark.
Yeah, Bland. Not so Bland. Damone Clark are playing integral parts.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson is. Sam Williams is a great rotational piece, and Tyler Smith has been arguably, he's been our best rookie, but they're playing awesome.
Now Hendershot, one of the great last names of all
Oh,
time.
It is. It's great.
dude. And now let's look at the
He wasn't even drafted.
No, he undrafted, right? Free agent.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we look at the last season. Of course, Michael Parsons, Kelvin Joseph, Oso, Diggy No Doubt, Chauncey Golston, Nashawn Wright, Jabril Cox, Josh Ball, Simi Fiocco, Quinton Bohanna, who I think
had a good game.
And
last
I
week.
think he was injured as well with his neck injury. So
Yep.
if he's back to 100%, this is another nice timing with Hankins going out. And then
Israel
Luka Amua.
had the game-winning interception in the end zone. Like,
Yeah, so
they're participating. They're playing.
for any team, now, yeah, we're not going out there and saying, oh, they picked the best players at that time. But it's great to see that a lot of these players are actually playing well, where we're noticing them make plays out there.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've drafted very well the last, I'd say 10 years even. It's the Cowboys front office has been
What's
fairly
the
decent.
highest draft pick you've had in the last 10 years?
Probably
was
Zeke.
Zeke, right?
Zeke at 4.
At 4, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2000. Going into 2016 would have been Zeke at 4, and then before that it would have been
okay.
Morris Claiborne. We traded up 4 to get him at
That's
6.
right. That was a big trade.
That was a big trade.
That's right.
Yeah, there he is, Mo Claiborne, 6 overall.
So our
pick.
just to kind of end the offensive line talk here, Eric Block 60 in the chat.
What up, Eric?
He's asked us a couple times on our thoughts. Front 5: Smith, Peters, Biadaz. Where's fuck?
Well, we already said it. We already
Peters,
said it.
Biadaz, Martin, Smith. What do we think? What are
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be left tackle Tyron Smith, left guard Tyler Smith, center Biadash, however the fuck you want to say his stupid name, right guard Zach Martin, obviously, and then right tackle is going to be Jason Peters. That's what the early reports have been. And that's a lot better offensive lineman than a lot of people put out there. So
The size of Garrett's fucking head.
I know.
Well, in terms, do you think? I think obviously the immediate is the Jags this week. Here's the thing: we don't have many options at the moment.
that's going to happen.
That is the options. How do you think if we are going in with those 5? How do we think we fare against the Eagles on the December?
I don't even want to talk about the Eagles. We talked
so far away.
I don't even want to talk about the Eagles.
I don't want to blow my load.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because last week on the weekly podcast, we talked so much about the Eagles. We barely even talked about the Texans.
We're gonna get into that right now.
And we don't even need to talk
We're
about
going to get into the Texans or the Eagles or the.
Well,
or
I'm
the,
just saying,
Jags?
I just want us to kill. All I want is us to kill the Jaguars this week.
Hey, week to week,
Week to week.
On to Jacksonville.
On to Jacksonville.
Hey, before we head into Jags talk, because it's a jungle out there, it's going to get scary, and it is hot and steamy down in Florida. I don't think right now, actually, right?
It's
Do they
probably
have Christmas?
They don't celebrate Christmas in Florida.
They don't celebrate Christmas in Florida. It's too scary down there.
Yeah. All the kids get guns for Christmas. Hey, first time in Dallas Cowboys history we've had back-to-back 10-win seasons
since the 90s. First time in Cowboys history that we've had back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Specifically
since the
90,
90s.
specifically 95 and 96.
So you know what happened in 96?
Hey,
They toted the Super Bowl, son.
yeah. And I think the 90s.
Looking tough. We're depending on you, boys.
I remember what happened in 95, but
Yeah, the San Francisco 49ers beat them in the NFC Championship game and went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is that with Steve Smith or?
Yep, the wide receiver.
No, fuck. Hang on. Steve Young?
yeah.
Or who was the other guy that
Steve
they had?
Young. That was Steve Young's. That was Steve.
But they had-
Montana was off the team.
Yeah, Montana.
Ricky Waters was on that team.
Montana was actually playing for the Chiefs that
was.
year.
He was.
And he actually almost
AFC Championship.
Yeah, he almost made the Super Bowl. Imagine he would have played against.
That would have been beautiful.
It's almost like they could have scripted that.
I don't know who you go for.
The only thing I want to say about the Eagles right now is that Joe Namath is the most overrated quarterback in NFL history.
Are you joking right now?
I'm not joking.
He played for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know what to do with that when he looked so serious and everything. I didn't know what the fuck. Wow. That was amazing.
It was the green.
He's back.
He's back.
There's the guy. He can remember everyone's name now.
He's back.
Yeah, that was just to prove that I knew a name.
Yeah, but Joe Namath.
And a team.
A guy who's not even playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like I like saying I would say the most overrated Eagles quarterback of all time that I can think of.
He's a fucking announcer.
Well, at the time,
What's his name?
who? I'm trying to think.
Chris
Mark
Collins.
Wahlberg.
No, Collinsworth I don't even regard as being anything in the
Collins
life.
really wide receiver. He's
No,
most-
he has the glasses. He was on Monday Night Football for a couple of years.
Can't even think of him.
Yeah, I can't even.
I was gonna say Wentz just because
Wentz,
at the time the Wentz thing he was super overrated. Obviously,
Michael Vick.
I thought Michael Vick was decent when he had two really good seasons with the Eagles. He was actually excited. I remember watching him thinking, "Holy shit, he was back. He was back a little bit."
Okay, well, we got a football game coming up this Sunday.
Do we? I thought it was
Against the Jaguars.
The Dallas Crown Burros versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Junglers. Yeah, we do. So I actually
Gigolo.
I actually watched
I would cheer for that team.
on Game Pass. I watched the Jaguars versus Tennessee game last night just to see, kind of get some of the names. I don't watch many Jacksonville games. I don't think anyone really, unless you're from the area.
How many
really,
do you think in your life?
that I've watched?
Jacksonville.
Probably the
Knowingly?
just the times really that the
When they
Cowboys
played
have played them,
Cowboys?
and the Cowboys play them like once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So those are the only times really. I think that a few years, probably 10 or 15 years ago, they had a decent run with what the hell was their one running quarterback
his name was
Crack me if you got him. I watched a few of their games, but haven't watched very many Jaguars games. Last night, like I said, was watching the game. Picked up a few players that we might have to watch out for. First, they have Tavon Walker, who actually Adam and I watched get drafted first overall.
IRL.
In real life. They took him first overall this year in the NFL draft. Hasn't had a crazy statistical season. He only has 3.5 sacks, but in the game, I was watching it. I was like, man, this 44 guy can fly around and he's knocking bitches out. He actually took out Tannehill pretty good. He looked pretty damn good. They have this safety with some long flowing hair who's running around.
Steroids.
He looked like Andrew Wingard. He looks tough. So they actually played not bad against the Titans. The issue is they probably would have lost to the Titans, but they had 4 turnovers. Like they took the ball away from Tennessee 4 times, and they turned the 4 turnovers into 20 points. So that was my biggest takeaway from the game is they won the turnover battle, and they got such a far lead that the Titans couldn't lean to their strength, which was Derrick Henry. Those were my biggest takeaways from the game of the Jacksonville's last game.
How did Trevor Lawrence look? He's starting to look better.
Good.
Last 3 games, obviously they're on a 3-game kind of winning streak. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable than he was last year.
He can wheel and deal. He can use his legs. He had a rushing touchdown. They have 3 wide receivers who actually look pretty scary, or they looked scary against the Titans at least. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, and Evan Ingram. They all played very well against the Titans and could give our secondary some trouble. All 3 looked very fast. Zay Jones had a couple drops, but Trevor Lawrence was finding them. He was using his legs to extend the field. I don't know if Tennessee doesn't have a great defensive line, but they weren't getting any pressure. I think we're coming off of our first game without a sack. Wasn't it? I don't know if we even had a sack.
No, we did have a sack.
Oh, we had a couple actually. Anthony Barr had a sack. So yeah, we had a few, but Tennessee didn't look like they got in at them at all. And then actually Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line was eating too. They were giving Tannehill trouble all game.
And not to I don't want this to distract us, but like you look at Micah Parsons and they were scheming him all over. He was a little bit quiet. He didn't do too much in the last game. And the fact that like Parsons is still kind of on the list of like the most sacks in the league, 12. I think the highest is 14.5 right now.
By who?
Not Nick. Yeah,
Juden?
Is it Juden? No, Juden, and then
And Bosa.
and then Bosa.
Bosa's right up there.
But like, I mean,
he's
but
a
Parson
god.
hasn't had a sack for like the last 3 games
since the Giants game. Yeah, because the last 2 games he hasn't had a sack.
So I'm just
he
like,
needs to get enough. He needs to get enough slaughter for his entire pride. So if he can't get 2 sacks, he's not getting 1.
I'll say this though, the reason that he wasn't there, I feel like Houston especially was really getting the ball off really quick. It was all short passes, right? There was no time where, minus the one that the guy dropped on the sideline, Houston never tried to spread the field. And even that's like a 3-step drop and you're just airing it out. But I hope that our defensive backfield can just hold on to their cover a little bit longer to then force the quarterback to have to move. Like I was saying, Trevor Lawrence in the last game that he played, he was running a lot. And I don't know if that was just to extend the play or if that was done by
trying to be like Sunshine from Remember the Titans with that fucking long hair.
Sunshine.
I have more faith in Dan Quinn, and I think we've seen enough of it this season that they do make micro adjustments throughout the season. Nothing so big that it throws off a game or it throws off what's working, but we have seen them make changes throughout the season. Now, last game was not really necessarily the best judgment, but the defense played a good game.
They only let 23 points.
Yep, and
short fields.
Stopped
short
them
fields.
on that
The first and goal.
pretty much gimme right there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the fumble too. I think did they score only a kick off that, right?
Ice cream.
Not the fumble, the fucking botched punt. I don't know if that's called a fumble.
No, they scored a touchdown on that.
Was it a touchdown?
Yeah,
Okay.
they got up 7-7 at that point.
Yeah, well,
All in all, I mean, I'm
fuck
not.
you, dickhead.
Yeah, well, you have that. You have that.
Sometimes I
soundbite.
like to just soundbite it myself now.
I'm not. So the Texans game is as close to a trap game as we probably could get to, and I think that game is going to. We're going to see a pretty high scoring game. I think it will be like 38-30 Dallas. I don't want to give.
Whoa.
Hey, first IRL
yes.
hand holding.
I've never seen it live, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You just did.
But I think we can minimize that if our
Christmas
defense
miracle.
plays the way that they've been playing for most of the season. I mean, last week they let those fucking dual quarterbacks just do whatever the fuck they wanted.
The defense let 23 points last week. I don't think the defense played that bad last week.
No, I'm talking about in terms of like
right.
what we usually see from the defense and allowing like the quarterbacks in terms of like our pass rushing. It just seemed like we weren't the same form that we were. Our defense did a great job because we won the game.
If you could hold Jacksonville to 23 points this weekend, would you take it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
23
Because
points.
I said originally it was going to be 38-30. So 38 Cowboys, 23 Jacksonville. Looking good.
Why do you think that's going to be the score? You think we get back on track?
I just think with our cornerback issue that we're having right now, I think we're still trying to get our jive. I think Trevor Lawrence, because he's coming in a pretty good momentum. I think we're and again, like you were talking about before, these aren't teams that we regularly play. So they're not within our kind of usual system. The only benefit is, in my mind, not the benefit, but the fact that the Houston game was so close and almost, I'm not gonna say almost a loss.
It's going to light a fire under them.
I think it's gonna, yeah.
It should. And the win was
It's going to be a fire starter.
deserved, but I hope, just like Nate mentioned earlier, I think it's the fire starter.
Okay, well, I want to know. I want to hear.
The biggest thing with and what we struggled with a lot is the fact that our offense doesn't produce the way that we need to, and our defense stays on the field more. So the defense can't be the defense that we want them to be.
Got to run the ball more.
We got to run the ball more.
Do y'all want me to read some stats here? I'm going to throw some game stats at you, and then and then we can also look at the last 5 games of the Jags.
Sure.
And just kind of make our predictions a little bit more accurate with some of the stats here. So points per game. Cowboys 28.
Can you get it up on your screen?
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Yeah, idiot.
So we're just about to take a little peek at the kind of, and they're actually the Jags are on a little bit of a heater.
Wow,
right
and
now.
they averaged 23 points a game, so that's pretty good there.
Yeah, no, look.
That's pretty fucking good.
I think, and we can point out specific things here just for our wonderful audio listeners, but basically the points per game and the points allowed per game are exactly 22.6, so 23 points for the Jaguars each, points per game and points
scoring
allowed.
and giving up.
And the Cowboys 28 points and 18 points allowed, 20 points 18 points.
They score 28 points per game. They allow
18. So, I mean, that just right there, of course, is in favor of the Cowboys. But the more telling thing is we look down at the yards. The Jags have no problem moving the ball on offense. They have a problem scoring, must be a red zone issue. And they also have a large problem stopping the pass game.
Yeah.
So how does that bode for the Cowboys? Well, our strong suit has
Do we
been...
have a turnover?
Also, not
I can
good
look
against
that
the
up.
Rush.
Well, it might be. It should be in team stats here.
This
Usually
is limited. Let me pull up. Yeah.
We'll just scroll down there for a sec.
It goes into...
Oh, that's weird.
other
That's
stuff.
usually like one of the biggest stats you think, because this is a good setup. This is a good breakdown.
It is. That's the one. They don't have the big team list, but I'll pull that one up here.
Because that's the telling sign. Like I said last week, turnovers. Them playing against the Titans, that won them the game. The 4 turnovers they had.
Do you want to look at the ratio?
I want to know how many turnovers they've had and how many they've given up. That's, to me, the most important stat in football is who hangs onto the ball and who doesn't give it away.
Third down conversion.
Third down conversion's a good one.
The most important stat at football for all you listeners out there is the win.
The W.
Is the W. So our host is absolutely wrong in that statement.
You're not wrong, I guess. The winning is the most important stat. Okay, so the differential here. So the Cowboys right now, 11 interceptions. How many fumbles, AJ? Do you want to go to the right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just looking at
Don't
the
just
differential.
fucking give up right now, AJ.
So the Cowboys right now have 11 interceptions and 12 fumbles, and we've only given it up. So we are +8. So if we have 23, we've given it up 15 times. So that's good. So that you're gonna love the +8. Now, what are the Jaguars at?
Jags are not too far behind.
Give us a little highlight so we can see where you're tracking there, baby.
So they're positive right now. The Jaguars are positive also. They have a +5 differential. They have 10 interceptions, 10 fumbles, and then they've given the ball away 15 times also. So they've given the ball up as much as the Cowboys. So they've protected the ball. That's a scary stat. They don't give up the ball and they take it away. If you go back to what were the Texans? Just to put it into perspective, they're the second worst in the NFL.
Worst.
So
Yeah, and that's only because Indianapolis throws about 2 interceptions.
So Indianapolis and
our
Texans,
our
our
last
last
two
two
games.
games. Yeah. Jinx.
So that jinx. So that's a telling stat. We're really gonna we have to win the turnover battle.
We do, and look at those frickin' dirty Eagles out there with 14. I mean, that makes a difference. And we saw it in that Texans game. We had momentum just kind of pulled right out from underneath our feet, our cleats, if to
you
be
will.
specific, because the momentum just completely shifted at that point. The offense almost needs to be kind of babied in those first two halves. And I know people call correctly. Thank you. I know people call correctly that we come out with a scripted first drive. I always wonder, don't you think there are scripts to they have scripts to kind of everything in a sense, right? Like, I know you can never script it to paper, but if you can script a first drive, what's the difference with scripting your entire game to a certain extent, right?
Yep. I'm sure they must to a little bit. But you always hear that. Oh yeah, it's scripted the first drive.
I guess I need some more explanation about how that differs from just because I could you imagine if all the work went into the first drive and then the coach
They're like, hey, wing it.
Hey, all right, guys. do what you got to do out there.
just go.
You
for
know
it.
the routes.
But
I know that's not what it means, but
I feel like that's how half the teams play anyway.
sometimes.
Like, what do you think the fucking Broncos are
Well,
up to?
Yeah.
fun.
Let's ride.
Just real quick on that.
I saw the saddest one where he's finishing one of his. He's in full gear, and he says, "Okay, yeah, we weren't happy with the game." And as he's walking, he's like, "Let's ride."
I know. I saw that one too. You're just like, oh my God, Russell.
What a dolt.
Stop saying it. Stop. Or he's just the ultimate Seahawk. He wanted the money and he wanted to tank the team just so the Seahawks got a good draft pick.
The more he does, they're second right now. They're second pick right now.
I know it's insane. It's
ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right, AJ, what do we got?
AJ, sorry, yeah. What do we got here, AJ?
We went on our Let's Ride.
AJ.
journey.
Yeah.
I totally forgot what I was
Zoinked
going
out?
to say. But
While you're looking, I'll say another comment.
Jags talk.
Eric Black 60 says, listen, Kellen needs to draw plays to our receivers' strengths, not what he thinks is cute. Gallup is a sideline fade route guy. CD is a slant plant and a cut kind of guy, and Noah's a post guy. They're basically saying, obviously a lot of the issues that we're having, and that they have a couple other strings of chat about no curl routes. Kellen's just calling some odd, now that Dak's been back, he's calling plays that just doesn't seem to suit how the offense is at the moment. And you could possibly blame Kellen for how close or how bad the offense has been producing in some of the play calls. Again, if you're new to this podcast, we started last year. He was the dungeon master. We thought he was the best play caller in the world. Not really, but staying. And now it's just been vanilla pudding. So a lot of the things that you're saying, Eric, we completely agree with. We want in this room here a run heavy offense.
Yeah. And that
Period.
just means 50-50. Like, just obviously a 50-50 running attack is considered a run heavy. I just want to see us run as many times as we throw the ball.
I'm going to be watching the routes.
Routes.
I'm going to be watching the routes.
No, where's AJ? I don't know. He's outside looking at a tree.
Yeah. Guys,
Looking at the roots.
guys, I found a curl. I found a curl route. I'm going to be watching the routes more and remind me what to be looking for, because that's something that, like, I think is the next step in my game watching that
It
I
is
wanna
tough.
take.
It is tough when you're watching the actual game because you don't really see a lot of them develop.
I think the NFL, and hopefully you could do this if the NFL was on the internet, you'd be able to do this. You could switch to the angle that you want, because the angle that we have
that'd
on
be beautiful.
football, it forces you to basically, which is still a fun part of the game to watch and makes sense, where you're just watching the battle that's happening on the front line and the quarterback setting up. You don't see anything it's hard to watch anything past the 10-yard line.
And I don't know. I think you might in the States be able to do that.
Switch to a behind, like the Madden view.
on the Thursday night games. I think
you
Prime
used to be able
can,
to.
What you're saying is like when you buy a DVD and you can like
Change
when you can change the angles.
No,
for the DVD
I want the Madden view.
Anyone
so you
out
see
there,
the-
DVD
Right.
is,
I think on Prime
see the
in
play
America
develop.
you
Yeah.
can. I think you can on Prime.
It's not even that. It's you
I
get
think
to
Prime
watch.
has like 6 different options you can choose when you watch a game.
Yeah.
But there's so many times when a deep ball's thrown and you see the cornerback just like
the end,
catching, and
it's
you're like, "What the
contested.
fuck happened?"
Yeah.
And then you have to wait to the replay. It'd be nice to try to catch that in the
Best views would be from the top or from the quarterback's angle. And
Well,
you
that's
watch
and that,
quarterback
so in the
angle.
all 22
Fuck.
footage that we don't have access to in Canada through DAZN, which is the streaming device we use. You can basically pick from either end zone at any time.
Can you watch that live?
I that's what I'm saying. You might be able to in the States. I don't know.
That'd be amazing.
Okay.
I mean,
At the end of the game, and I know you used to be able to watch the all 22, and you could put any of those views, and you could. watch
But all
the full
22
game.
only does after it.
yeah, for me though,
That'd be
I
amazing.
like I'll give me what you're putting on the regular broadcast, and then after the fact, I like to like that's why they make so much money, because you have these additional pluses and these additional subscriptions that you can get, and the fact that there is so much media coverage around every single game in terms of like views and angles. I mean, I like watching it just like that, and then I go back and then watch those plays develop after the fact.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's how it would make sense. But I feel like I'm ready to take a step up and watch it live.
Appreciate. Yeah. So like when we're at AT&T, Anth force fed us to be like, if I catch you guys looking up at the jumbotron, I'm gonna knock you out. Watch the play,
I didn't
and
say
then
that a
watch
single-
the jumbotron.
It was more. I'd look and I'd say, I'd laugh and be like, "You're watching you paid all this money to come here to watch a TV. Watch the field.
Yeah.
The jumbotrons for the replay."
Yeah, it is.
And look,
And it works that way.
From the nosebleed arena view, it actually might be my favorite way because you get a bit of that view that you were talking about, Nate, like the top down almost, where you see the holes opening so much different, and you see the running backs making the decision of which hole to run through. You can watch
I want to see the
sideline
defense
battles.
adjust
Yeah.
as well, like when they're audibling and they can just. So you guys have been to AT&T Stadium
Twice. Well, as a crew.
twice. You've been a few times. You've
Yep.
been a few times. They're doing
yeah.
upgrades to it, like $300
Nice.
million upgrades.
Yeah,
to it.
'cause
like what is it that they're?
World
They want
Cup.
to just keep up. They want.
No,
they're doing the World
it's
Cup.
for
there?
the World Cup.
Probably.
cool.
But
But what are the?
they
Obviously,
probably get
it's,
a little kickback if they
I don't
change
know.
for the World
Parking
Cup.
maybe.
but it's to
What-
benefit in the future as well.
What the fuck could you do to upgrade that stadium?
I imagine just maintenance every 10
maintenance?
years is probably.
no, but if he's saying
Like
that they're
locker
upgrading it
rooms or-
because they're trying to get the World Cup,
I get upgrading, but it's also
AJ,
it's a
go
building.
digging.
A building like that needs, which I guess they probably do all the time. But
So do you think Jerry does that himself? Like,
No.
Is he 300 mil or is this soccer's coming in to like?
he
or
probably gets a
whatever they call it?
kickback.
Nate Doc, there is something you need to understand
Yeah, there it
about,
is.
about NFL finance.
let's just take a moment and say hi to Miss
Little
Elizabeth.
salt.
She's showing up live in the chat.
Oh,
Miss Elizabeth has been around just as long as EJ Savage.
What up?
wow.
What up?
Elizabeth,
What up?
R.I.P.
Oh, here we go.
R.I.P.
The real Miss Elizabeth, R.I.P. But the CanFan Miss Elizabeth is in the house.
Okay, I need to know from everyone in here right now one thing that the Cowboys have to do to win the game, and one thing the Jacks, knowing that you guys have watched every Cowboys game, what do the Jags have to do to the Cowboys to beat them? So I want to hear one from.
I mean, I don't want to give them our trade.
They might be
secrets, but-
listening. They might be listening. So I want to hear that from you guys, and then I think it's just a good way to kind of analyze the upcoming game a little bit.
Yep. What was the question? Sorry, I was just looking at
I want
the upgrade.
one.
Hey, we're over here working.
I know. I didn't say nothing. I want one thing that the Cowboys have to do to win, and then one thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars have to do to beat the Cowboys.
Okay.
Like you've obviously watched the games. You've seen a weakness. Well, you've watched all the first quarters, the first, second quarter, third, fourth. I don't know. Third, fourth quarter. I don't know what's going on in that beautiful brain of yours. But what do you think that the Jags would have to do to destroy the Cowboys?
If I was the Jags, I would want to play really hard, and from their stats, they play better run defense. So I would be making sure to focus on that early and get Dak throwing and try to throw him off his rhythm. Kind of anticipate a slow start, try to get an early turnover, and just get up by 2. You get up by 2 on the Cowboys.
Like a safety?
Or I would 2 touchdowns.
I know what you meant. I'm just being a dick.
Get up by 2 touchdowns.
That's for not listening to my question.
Well, that was your question. Oh,
Well, he was busy. He was doing
Hey,
some
you got me
producer
back.
work over here.
so that's what I would do. I think that's the
He's
recipe.
also just reading off of this blog on what the Jags should do. To beat.
Yeah, I like it. It sounds like it sounds like his own thought.
It was written exactly. I read it verbatim. Even this part. And written by
Some schmlob.
Jason Schluckel.
Jason Schluckel. Wow. So I think that in order for the Jags to win, if you have Lawrence be mobile and you create the opportunities to pass, I feel although we are a very scary pass rushing defensive team, the fact that we're running into the cornerback issue, I would be tossing it up early, and then I would start to hammer them with the run. And then I would get Lawrence to kind of be a little bit more mobile. So I'd be focused on having Lawrence get up the field, but I'd also be thinking about I would attack their pass game specifically because we're having issues with our cornerbacks. I'm not an offensive coordinator, so it probably won't work. I'm not even really that good at Madden, but that's where I'd be approaching it.
There's some like running.
Oh yeah, there is. You guys have something running. I can hear it too. I can't hear it in the headphones, but it's me. I think, Nate.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, it was
but
just that.
good sign.
I did hear it just when you brought it up.
Yeah,
it wasn't very loud.
Good call, Nate. Good
And-
call.
and-
Don't be ever scared to just say that right in.
dude,
Be like,
yeah,
hey,
I just heard it then.
yeah. No, I think it was my phone. My bad.
And then in
Did you say that to all?
there it is. Whoa, that's been a while.
That's
since
been a
we've-
while.
An oldie but a goodie.
An oldie but a goodie.
I don't think we've heard it since we left for Thanksgiving.
Has it been
Great
that?
Canadian Thanksgiving road
Is that
trip.
CanFan folklore you're dropping?
CanFan folklore.
So Nate
yeah.
Dogg, you've been watching the Cowboys a little bit. I know because we're big Cowboys fans.
I watch you guys, so I watch Cowboy games.
So give me something that the Jags, if you wanted, crack them if you got them over there.
If you got him.
If you had the Jags, or if
Crack
you
'em if you got 'em.
if you were, because you're a big San Fran
Yeah,
fan,
I am.
how would you beat the Cowboys? What would you do? What's the weakness that you see when you're watching these games?
And you can't say
Yeah.
sharpshooter or suplex.
Okay. Well, then I'm limited here. Well, for the Jaguars to stop the Cowboys,
Yep.
you got to stop the run.
Yep.
Because you got two backs who you guys were just showing earlier, almost 1,000 yards. They have 9 touchdowns each. That's fucking incredible. You got to stop the run. Maybe make Dak choose a secondary receiver, get him off his first few reads, maybe. And the second part of the question, I guess, would be...
I think we only all got to the first part of the question.
First part.
Yeah,
So we're just doing the first part. Well, then that's what I would say is you got to stop the run. You got 2 running backs, you got to stop the run.
Yeah. So you guys have pretty much everything you guys said is what I was gonna go with, but I have one kind of. It's not really.
Oh, Ant has to be unique.
I'm going to be a flower.
Well, as you guys were saying stuff, AJ, you and Nate kind of had similar. You guys had similar ones, and then Ads was a really good one with attacking the corners.
Sure.
Most teams right now think we're weaker at our run defense, so people have been trying to run at us. But I think Ads onto something. I think you need to come out with. They have 3 good. The Jags have 3 very good wide receivers. I think they need to come out and just start whipping the ball downfield.
What about so yeah and was somebody in the TikTok chat just reminded me Evan Ingram,
That's what I mean. Evan.
like
so Evan.
tight end, like
Hey, Kirk.
No, I think Evan. He's a different guy. Different. He's a wide receiver.
are you sure?
Yeah. They have Ingram, and then they have Christian Kirk and
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. I'm pretty sure they're all wide receivers. I thought he
No,
was
Ingram is a
I
tight
thought-
end.
Are you sure it's him though, or did they not have the same name?
38 points in fantasy.
So
he
you
got.
had okay. So
I didn't have him.
So I thought just by watching him play for the Jags there last night, he looked like a wide receiver, number 17, and he was killing them last night.
Oh, you're right. He's not Evan Ingram.
yeah. Okay. So he's the wide receiver.
No, hang on. Let me look.
Tight end.
He is the tight end.
Chat's confirming that I was
Okay,
correct.
so he's
He's a tight end.
He's the one that played for the Giants, the Evan Ingram. I didn't the way he looked in the
Fumbled all the time.
yeah the way he looked in the Jags outfit. I didn't think he was a tight end.
he's been irrelevant for a minute, and then all of a sudden he comes up with he's just fucking dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a great game. He was their best wide. I thought he was a wide receiver because he was making such an impact in the game against the Titans. So him, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk, those 3 dudes, they should just be using those 3 and attacking. Etienne, their running back, didn't play very well against the Titans. I would not be trying to go run heavy against the Cowboys. But my thing was, if I was trying to beat the Cowboys, Tyron Smith is back for his first game of the season. He's been injured for the last 4 or 5 months. Jason Peters is going to play right tackle, hasn't played right tackle this year. I would be blitzing like crazy on both those sides. I'd be bringing extra bodies. I'd be lining up Tavon Walker, jumping them from side to side, and I would not lean or lay up on the blitzing. I would just come at the Cowboys like crazy.
Make Dak throw the middle.
Dak throw, and hopefully Tyron Smith can't handle it, or hopefully Jason Peters can't handle it.
Yeah.
Win the sack race
That's some
and not the potato sack race.
That's some way for a Cowboys fan to talk. Hey, here's just a great fact. While we were talking, someone mentioned something about scoring a lot of touchdowns. I got interested in the red zone. Cowboys are nearly 72% red zone
touchdown efficiency.
That's
pretty good.
Third in the league, just behind Philly and Detroit. Oddly enough, Detroit 75%, Philly 74%. So
Detroit's actually not a bad. They had some weird losses.
their turnovers.
They had
26 turnovers in this.
That's
season.
what it is. They had some weird losses at the start of the season, but they're right in the playoff hunt right now.
They cover almost every week too. If you're a betting man,
They cover it, and probably the over also. Their games are probably always the over.
Yeah.
But we look at our away game percentage, and that's really bogging us down. Only 56%.
So drops on the road,
drops horribly on the road.
a quarter pretty much.
And home is 81%. So we definitely play better at home in terms of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And that's a pivotal point of the game. You have to, if you're not going to be scoring 7, you got to at least get 3. And I don't know. I'm always kind of worried with the Cowboys about some of those. Red zone's a different story, but out of the red zone between that 30 to 40 yards, basically 45, where the kick could happen, but maybe it makes more sense to go for it if it's 4th and 2. I'm always a little nervous. Like the Cowboys, I'm going to look up their percentage right now, but it always
Like
feels
their fourth down
percentage. But I think that's like a big factor that I've seen more teams taking the chance on that 4th down. Or am I just paying more attention to the NFL? I don't know, but it seems like more teams are saying, "Fuck it, let's try to get 2 yards here rather than kick a field goal that has a percentage chance of missing 2."
Yeah.
I feel like you're noticing a lot because you're hyper focused on one game. I do feel it's not a common thing, but it happens more frequently than we would think.
I do remember though, a few years ago, I don't know if it was an article or just kind of like general discussion going on, but there was like a statistic that said going forward in those certain cases, and I might not be outlining the perfect environment for it, but basically there's a place where kickers kick, and if you are in a 4th down and short scenario, it makes statistically more sense.
So when you're on about the
Dallas is going for it.
when you're on about the 40-yard line, you're not going to punt because the punt gains you pretty much. I think it's like 20 yards.
Right.
Instead of if you go for it, like
That's what it is, I think.
That's all it is. Like if you kick it and more than likely you're going to get a touchback, they're starting at the 20. If you go for it and potentially pick up the first down, well, you got the first down obviously, but if you don't, they've only gained the 20 yards. So you don't net a lot more by punting. And then obviously if you go for the field goal and you more than likely miss, they're in the same spot as if you just go for it on. So it's when you get the low percentage field goal attempt.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you're more than likely just going to pin them, unless you get that perfect kick where you pin them on the one, which obviously the percentages, it's more than likely going to be a touchback.
And so I just
want at the 40-yard line though is kind of where you'll see them go do that.
And I wasn't wrong in my stat here, 53%. Now they're 11th. They're tied for 11th, but 53% 4th down percentage.
So it's like flipping a coin right now, which isn't is they're 11th in the league?
They're 11th, tied for 11th. But look at this.
So that's not bad.
The top
Eagles.
It goes. The top 4 are basically 70% and above. It goes in descending order. So number 1, Kansas City 80%, LA Rams 76%, 77%, Philly 76%, and Pittsburgh 69%. And then it drops off.
Kind of weird. Pittsburgh and LA Rams. I wouldn't have guessed that they were two of the teams.
I know, hey.
That,
but 80%.
That's crazy.
Rams.
You're dumb.
I mean, go for
dumb
it.
to not go for it on 4th down almost every
Unless
other time.
they've only gone like whatever 3 times or
And
something.
the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are basically a coin flip. That's what we should do. I'm gonna have a coin sitting here on Sunday, and every 4th down, I'm gonna flip it.
Nice.
Now
I like that.
See what it does.
Just because we can, playing away game, it does go up to 60%. So oddly enough, better chance on the road that they make the 4th down than at home.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So then, if you were the Cowboys going into this weekend matchup at the away Jacksonville Jaguars, what would you do to win?
Okay, so
Fucking cap their knees, baby. Cap their knees.
Tanya Harding them.
While you're thinking about that, Chad has a question for Nate Dogg. They're all a lot of them are saying everybody on the cast is wearing a hat. Give Nate a hat. I said he's a Niners.
He's a Niners fan.
I said he's a Niners fan. There's no way he's putting that hat on. The question that they ask is, all right, ask Nate how many points within reason the Cowboys have to score this weekend for him to wear a Cowboys hat next time he's on.
49.
Or over?
Well, I don't know what
Or
the
does it
over
have to be?
Just what?
No. I'm asking Nate. Is it 49 points and over, or do
okay,
they have to score 49 exactly?
I'm going just 49.
Oh, they have to score 49. I mean, so 7 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, look.
Fuck,
it could happen.
We need this 40 burger now.
We need this 49 burger.
Yeah, let's put a little incentive and then get 49.
And you know what hat he's wearing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'll fucking wear that.
I mean, that's the one to wear, Nate. That is the fucking one to wear.
That's the hat, Nate.
Absolutely.
That or the Cowboys helmet. One or the other.
Well, the Cowboys helmet. It's
go
a little sacred. So
Hey,
funny.
that hat is vinyl for a reason, so it can get clean.
he could wear a
I'll
bandwagon
tell
boy
you
bucket
this.
hat.
I'll tell
That's
you,
true.
if they do the 49, I'll wear that fucking hat for the Super Bowl cast.
Okay. Nice. Okay,
Awesome.
I like it.
And you know what's happening because the Cowboys are going to be in it.
And the Super Bowl cast gets out of fucking control. So that'd be great.
Well, not if the Cowboys are in. Like, if the Cowboys were in, I wouldn't be able to.
If the Cowboys are in it,
might have to watch it.
It's a closed set.
If Nate
Yep.
Dogg and brother
shit,
Adrian
yeah.
are here,
Look at this shit here.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Nate,
screech.
if Nate Dogg, brother Adrian, and Anth are all squished on that couch,
Yeah.
you know a bottle of screech is going down.
Fucking right.
What we'd have to do
Is mics for everybody.
Yeah.
That's just the main thing. Everybody needs a headset and everybody needs a mic.
Well, one thing that we would do, not if Cowboys are in the Super Bowl, it's going to be a very limited, but we would probably have like a second crew cam that we would cut
like a
to.
viewing party
Yeah,
over there. Yeah,
that would be
sure.
funny.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah, it's just you three allowed in the
Yeah,
in the main set.
In the main
And we can
set.
bring one person in at a time.
I don't know if I don't even think I'd do that.
So are we
I
going to
don't think you
talk?
could
I'm
either.
kiboshing that idea.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk Cowboys?
Oh, well,
what
yeah.
Cowboys need to do?
Yes.
That was Ant's secondary question.
there it is.
I guess I'll start.
Let's go reverse order this time so you guys can't steal my ideas.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just going to make it easy. Run the damn ball. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott. Just, hey, I don't give a shit. What do we need? What do we have to do to win the game? That's exactly what we have to do. We have to run early, often, and just even when you think they've stopped you, just keep going, keep running it, keep toting that rock. That's my easy one.
Like to me.
Yeah. Reverse. Counterclockwise.
So he said run the ball.
Run the damn ball.
Run the ball to beat how do you can't go away from that. You got to run the ball.
Run that rock.
Get into play action, wins every time. I will say, because I don't want to just go off of his answer, let's say I think you have to make Trevor Lawrence very, very uncomfortable. I think just blitz the fucking hell out of this guy and
like
see.
touch him when he's
I
on
think-
the ground.
Slip your finger somewhere.
I think, maybe a couple of hits to the head.
Oh, hey, yo.
Hey, we talk
Actually, I
about.
can't say that. I got to take that shit
No,
back.
no,
hang on.
Nate, keep
It's
saying
too
it.
late. It's in
Keep
the
saying
ether.
it.
Too late.
And
Listen,
what?
We all
What
know
are
what
you saying?
happens.
We
Yeah,
talk
all know
about-
what happens. Shit.
The Cowboys have had a penalties problem. Okay.
Yep.
But there are times when there's good penalties, and so some of them are going to be when a guy's breaking, you just fucking clip his legs and take the PI. Right? If he's beating you, just fucking take the PI at that point, and so be it. The other one would be if you can get an option to get a quick cheap shot in on the quarterback. I mean, sometimes you take it. I always hate cheap players, but I always like the guys on my team, again, playing minor sports, so take it for what you will. But I always like having a guy out there who's a mean player.
See, I don't even like. It doesn't even need to be a dirty hit, really.
No,
I
not
just
a dirty
want,
hit.
I
I'm
think,
not
like,
saying a
even
dirty
like,
hit.
even if
Play
it's like,
him rough.
even if you get a roughing the passer on a guy,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And it was a nice clean hit. Like, I don't want to see anyone go crown the guy in the jar or anything.
Yeah.
But if it's a nice, or I even think the ones across the middle where the receiver's going up and you got a nice clean shot at him, you might get a 15-yard roughing play. But you're setting a tone.
Or
Like,
if Lawrence is running it and you just happen to he's doing that slide shit
Yeah.
that they do, and the guy's already set in his motion of going to tackle.
that one's such a. I hate those ones. Like,
I think they should take those away.
It's
That's
sometimes
fucking
so.
stupid.
It's sometimes so. Like, and then you see the times where the guy doesn't go for the hit.
Yeah.
And the quarterback just runs by him. It's like these guys don't get very.
That is a problem that needs to be addressed because you
Needs
can't
to be
have it
reviewable.
both. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, okay, the quarterback can run with the ball and then decide to slide down, because I guess
Yeah.
any player can decide to
You can give up.
give up and do that, but they need to do like if a player if they don't commit or they make an action like it, that should be like regardless, you're down.
Yeah.
Right. Like, or you have to do some sort of hand signal. I don't know. Put your hand up and gritty or something like that. But like, yeah, the sliding is.
Well,
because you do see it very often. Players are aware of it and they let up. Like hitting has changed quite a bit.
Yep.
We're seeing. I don't think the defenses are having a problem with it because they're athletic and they can adapt. But they hit very soft now on QBs, right? Like sure, you still might fall on a guy, but.
Not like the 70s and 80s even.
Or I'm even saying like 10 years ago, really. Like it was different. I remember some massive fucking hits. They were still favoring a quarterback since I've been watching football. They always have, but it's gotten to the point now where the tackling's different. They tackle different, and it might be beneficial to a player's career on both sides of the ball.
Well, the one rule that they're trying to institute, and it's happened the last 3 years, is that once you get off the line of scrimmage, the quarterbacks will have flags, and they pull the flags, and then that's when they'll be down.
I hope you're joking.
I'm 100% joking.
God.
But I had you.
I was like, what bullshit?
I was acting.
And then they're going to be wearing those stupid pillow helmets too.
Yeah.
In games. So
no pads.
Just pillow helmets. And
It's going to be rugby in 10 years.
yeah.
yeah, what do Cowboys have to do? Cowboys, in terms of offense, you've already said it. I'm going to say the same thing that you said.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah, I said it.
Run the dang ball.
Got him.
Run the dang ball.
I'm okay if we all have that same answer because it's what we have to do to win this
It's what we
damn
have
game.
to do, and not necessarily.
Boner alert.
It's true. I'm rock hard right now.
Nice.
The fact that
That table did raise up a little bit.
it did.
Made me nervous because he was looking at me and I'm his brother.
These things happen even in the
When
best
he's
of
got
families.
hungry eyes, it doesn't matter. who you are.
These things happen in the best of families. You remember the Lannisters in Game of Thrones, but instead of a guy girl, it's
Okay, next.
Anyways, so yes, run the ball.
I liked where that was going.
Yeah, I know you would. Run the ball, and then in terms of offense, let's send the house. I want to see them blitz Sunshine.
We need to see some Micah.
I want to see some Micah. I want to see Micah get 3 sacks.
Yeah.
On Sunday. I want Micah to fucking come alive and take Nick Bosa and take his beautiful ass to the cleaners for that depot.
You want, so is Nick Bosa the front
He's up
runner
there.
right now?
I
For
think so.
Yeah.
Him and Judon are
14 and a half, and then
Judon from the Pats.
The Pats.
So that's kind of the 3-headed race. Micah kind of had the edge lead.
there's
but
another guy with 12 too.
nice one.
I forgot his name.
So AJ, are you going to say the same thing?
No, I'm going to say something different.
Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Miles Garrett.
He said
12.
something. He said something different.
What do the Cowboys
He
need
did.
to do? Well, we know they need to rush the ball. I think they need to
Rush the ball as in blitzing on defense, or run the ball as an offense?
offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the intensity that was played with, and maybe you can only get this in those scenarios, but the intensity that offense played with the last drive and the I guess the scripted fucking excellence that they did in the first drive, whatever you will. That's the type of offense I like to see. These kind of throws by Dak that are very calculated. It's maybe because he's picking his first option is open, and so that he's going for it. But there was a couple throws on that last drive that were dropped right in between receivers. Not a lot of yak, all right. Not a lot of yak from Dak, as they say. But
Yak-a-dak.
two passes to Schultze that were dropped right into him. He caught the ball, hung onto it, thank God. And the one right near to get them in touchdown or to get them closer to the end zone. And then that pass out on the right-hand side to Brown, which was like, I think Brown's catch was even as incredible
The comeback
as
one?
the pass.
Or the one he dives
where he dives, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So so adding out all that's the type of intensity we need to see, and maybe like I said, it can only happen in those types of scenarios. But that's the passing game that needs to come out and play the entire game.
The only
can
risk,
they do it?
Well, the only
I hope
risk
so.
with that maneuver is the fact that, and we've seen them try to do that a lot this year. It's those fucking 3 and outs. It's like the quick 3 and outs. How many times in this last game were we like, Did they just go? We're on third down. We're on third down right now. So,
I guess and just to add a little addendum.
Yeah, of course.
To that, a proper mix of those things is what allows that to happen. So, maybe that's where the scripted part comes from, is like not getting caught up in what's happening play to play, but more being like, no, we are running these to set up this, and we're going to be running the ball on this down because it's going to lead to the next play. Maybe that's what scripted means more, rather than like reacting, okay, we didn't get these yards, so now this is our options of plays. So in that sense, maybe I am leaning towards more like, let's script the entire game. And no one was arguing against me.
No, not one person has argued against you.
No, I'm just, if you, I mean, I still think they do that. I think, I'm pretty sure they have a board that tells them in this situation, on this point of the field, with this, they have a play for every scenario that they're going to go into, right? So, I mean,
Absolutely.
That's pretty much a script to me. You look at something, you're like, okay, in this situation, we're going to do this play or this play.
But like, so do they not have the same? Did they not have access to the internet during season? Like, do they not see the same stats that we see sometimes though? Like they
probably have like
you try to outsmart yourself though.
No, they probably have like even more in-depth stats.
No, of course.
Right?
I'm trying to be funny because like every person who's a Cowboy fan looks at these stats. Everybody says the same thing. When Dak throws X amount of passes, he starts to fall apart. His QBR rating goes down. Everything just starts to fall apart when we are a pass heavy team. So. My question is, like, during the game, do they think that, oh no, this game's going to be different?
Well, I'd be interested, and I'm not saying right now, but I'd be interested to see something that shows how many times Dak audibles a play. So you
said that a couple times. I would be interested.
It's got to be adjusting to the defense, would be thrown off if you were scripted fully out. Right?
Yeah, but so what I mean in this situation, say Kellen Moore calls a run play, right? And then Dak audibles it to a pass play. And we're all like, fucking Kellen Moore, why aren't we running the ball? But in reality, Dak sees 8 guys in the box. He gets nervous. He's like, oh, okay, we're going to audible out of this play and throw it. Right? So I don't know if that's even a stat that you can find, but it would be interesting to see if it is Kellen Moore, who's that responsible for that? Or if it's Dak who at times is audibling out of the first down run.
I mean, you right or wrong, I think there's a problem in that anyways. So either you're putting up, if you know that's happening a lot, then that should be an issue that gets worked on anyways. And if it's not happening, then that's not an issue. So I don't know that there would be an excuse either way if they're thinking that's a problem. I think that that if you're looking at the offensive side of the football, the pass game's been the most inconsistent, although it can deliver some of the better results. But the run game is just the more consistent part of the football game. So,
but if you're a quarterback and you're told your whole life, if there's 8 guys in the box, you should audible out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Well,
right.
EJ kind of puts a nice clinch to it. He goes, Adam, Kellen Moore lives vicariously through Dak. He was a QB. He wants to throw.
Which then that's what we all say. I'm just also curious if possibly Dak sometimes audibles out of running plays on first down, because I just don't see the reason for throwing it as often as we do on first down.
But these two guys have been working together too long now. That if that is an issue, you would address it and be like, okay, if you're gonna audible out, then this is like, you would try to work. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about enough to. It's okay. That's the terminology, but I'm sure there's terminology they share.
It's a hypothetical. It was a hypothetical question I brought up, anyways. Like we don't know the answer to it. It might not even be an issue.
Exactly, but it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
Here's the one thing that I will say though, even after last game, knowing that Dak will take all the, like, Dak in his press conference took the blame. It's on me. This is on me. This isn't what I'm supposed. He's not blaming.
Zach Wilson did.
Well, what's Dak Man say here?
No.
And I'd like you to elaborate, Dak Man. You say Dak did kind of call out Kellen in his past press conferences about play calling. Could you elaborate on anything specific there? Because
Alex is you're a Dak man, Alex a fact man.
Yep, that's the truth.
You are a Dak man, and I'm a Dak man myself too. We have stripped Kellen Moore of the vanilla pudding moniker. We did that about 2 games ago at least.
Allegedly.
Hey, yeah, I guess it could still
Didn't
be.
you switch him to tapioca pudding?
Yeah,
I think we did.
We played with that idea. Tapioca.
Nobody likes tapioca
No one
pudding.
likes
Nobody likes
tapioca.
tapioca.
I think that's what you guys
Yeah,
said.
because
No one
vanilla
likes-
pudding's not bad.
No one likes it, but guess what? Someone's getting it.
Well, vanilla pudding, you kind of rely on other flavors to enhance it. So that's what we find. But tapioca pudding is just like put it away.
No one
Nobody.
likes it.
It's like rice pudding.
Yeah.
You know, it's like tapioca
don't mind
pudding
rice
with a little bit of rice in there. It's just disgusting.
Okay, well, we're waiting for Dak Man to get in here. I think we go around and we get our bold predictions and our score predictions.
I'll say mine already. 38-30.
I thought you went
Cowboys.
down to 23.
38-30. 38-30 Cowboys.
Wow.
The bold prediction is 38-23 Cowboys, with Micah getting 3 sacks.
That okay. I will go with that.
I'm usually a double. I want Turpin's gonna take it off the ground.
Turpin's gonna front flip over 3 people.
So I'm just gonna keep it simple. Our boy Micah Parsons gonna get 3.
Gets back on track.
Gonna get 3 sacks, and he's gonna be
Takes
right
that
up there.
defensive player of the year.
He's gonna take that gorgeous Nick Bosa with like those fucking honestly, Nick Bosa and fucking Miles Garrett. You think about linemen.
Yeah,
and
they're
it's like,
terrifying.
Tell me what you'd do with him. Tell me what you would do with
I
him.
would wash all of my clothes
You know what I
on
do?
their abs.
You know what I do? Stiff him in the chest. I'd stiff one in the chest, and then I'd stiff the other in the fucking sternum.
Oh, they would.
I'd keep them both back.
No,
You would.
there's no way.
You'd be playing guard somewhere. Alex would be a Pro Bowl guard doing that. Nate Dogg, let's get your score prediction and a bold prediction.
I'm going to predict the score 48 for the Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we don't want that
so we don't
49.
get
You
the
don't get the
49.
hat. You don't get the hat.
So I'm going to go 48 Cowboys, 42 Jaguars.
Wow.
Wow. I don't
Whoa.
like
I
that.
don't like that. That's a scary game.
I want the over.
There's a lot of shotguns and a lot of screenshots.
I was just gonna say that's gonna be a really drunk
But
Sunday.
then
Yeah.
that was my next was I'm going to say at least 4 screenshots going.
Wow.
Oh
That's
no,
my
Nate.
big
Please.
boldy.
I do
That's
not
my
want.
boldy.
And Nate has clairvoyance.
He does.
That's my boldy.
EJ Savage is 49-26 Cowboys suited up, Nate.
No,
Suited
shit,
up.
my guy.
AJ, you want to go or you want me to go?
You go ahead.
Okay, score-wise, so the Cowboys, last week I was nervous about the Texans game, and then I got all jazzed up and fell into the hype, and I said we were going to shut out the Texans. That did not happen. It was
Kudos to you clipping yourself too.
I did clip it. I would. For now, you caught me off guard here. What I was saying. Obviously, it was a nail biter, but the Cowboys have notoriously, after playing what the media or what the fans think is a bad game, which I don't think was a bad game. It wasn't the cleanest win, but it was still a win. I think we come out and we take the Jags to the. What would be a good analogy? Take the Jags
cleaners?
to the cleaners. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. I think we take the Jags to the cleaners and win. I'm saying we're going 35-17. 35-17.
Okay.
No field goals, no Mayer, just a cool 5 touchdowns. And then my bold prediction is going to be, I'm going to stick with my guy. I'm going to go because we said a way to beat the Cowboys this week is to attack the pass game or the cornerbacks. I'm going to go with Mike Tagg's prediction last week, and I'm going to go with Calvin Joseph, boss man, fat interception touchdown somewhere in the first half.
Boss man fat.
Yeah, interception touchdown.
Okay.
That's my go-to.
Just because we keep saying that the fucking secondaries are having issues.
Yep. We gotta counterbalance what we're
You
saying.
do sideways chugs if it's any.
No,
defensive
just
play?
digs.
Just digs. Yeah.
Just
Just
digs.
digs.
But I mean,
Maybe an LV.
I've been lobbying. I've been lobbying for a bit more.
We
I
did
mean,
one
that
last week. We did one last week because the Cowboys were looking a little. I think
We're gonna let
Sometimes
chat decide.
Well, sometimes
one
you
for
do
us.
need to like propel
Yeah.
positive vibes into the
Yeah.
ether. A couple questions in the chat was asking about what
Well,
our
let
thoughts
me-
on LVE, but
let
I
me
mean,
just
I know
get
I'm
my-
not
Playing
gonna,
great.
I'm not going to say we're going to go with it. I was going to say we'll
Oh
get
wait,
AJ's.
I do want to hit up chat. I just want to. I'll
No,
get
no,
mine
this
out
was.
quick.
Hey, guess what? They're all gone anyways. This is like at the start of the chat.
Okay, I got 34-17.
Ooh.
So it's one less.
one less than mine.
But
we're feeling it.
I come at it because I get 4 TDs and 2 kicks.
You want the kicks.
I
It's
came
more.
at it a
It's
little
more
different.
likely. It's more likely to get 34 than it's to 35. But I feel 5 touchdowns coming up.
And No, I'd rather have that. But hey, either way, we're looking. I also
Looking tough.
I also think 2 touchdowns and a kick from the Jags is something that we could see, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually down 14-7 or more in the game. I'm going to say that's my bold prediction is that I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags score 14 points before we do.
Okay.
Is that bold enough?
Wow.
I would think 21 would, but that wouldn't go with your score prediction.
It wouldn't.
How about they score 17 points before we do? Because that's what.
Now, that doesn't mean 17 points before we score.
No, I get that, but they've reached 17 before we do.
Because I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to mark it down, but that's not my bold. I just want to see if it happens. Okay. My bold will then be
If they get to 16.
is TY playing?
I don't think he will be.
Okay. Is it Washington is though?
Washington, yeah, he was last week, so I can't see him not playing this week.
Okay. I'm going to see 3 reception touchdowns by 3 different receivers.
Okay, I like it.
Think, well, I mean, so one of the comments in chat earlier on was that the Dallas Cowboys insider posted that TY has been studying the playbook 15 hours a day, and they want him to play Sunday. So
I mean, this would be the time to get him to play a game against the Jags.
give him a couple
why
plays.
not?
Why not?
Washington came in, did that one play, dropped it.
He just has to be
Get him dressed up, get him going through the motions.
The only
play him
thing
a
I don't
couple-
like, and the only reason I don't has he practiced all week? Has he been?
Well, I don't know.
Has he been practicing? That's my main thing.
Is he down?
Is he down? Turnover battle. We touched on that. Got to win that. Got to stop the run game. Got to it's all cliche stuff, but it's what we have to do to beat the Jags. The Jags aren't a bad team. They looked physical against the Titans. The Titans were a physical team. Derrick Henry was running early and often. We got to do the same with our 2 stud backs.
Like after that,
need to win.
After that one run by Zeke where he fucking carried a bunch of the Texans, I thought Zeke was just going to get hammered with that rock.
Keep giving him the ball. He's running hungry. He's running physical, but instead we drop back and throw it and fumble it.
Everybody keeps. I really like how Zeke's been playing this year. Obviously, when we looked at the stats earlier on, but just in terms of Zeke as himself, not only as like a player being like, yeah, last year I think I was a little off with TP20 coming in and maybe taking some of my snaps. The fact that they're totally both I'll crack it for you.
There we go.
The fact that they're both like all for having this dual back. Like I don't know. I think Zeke's been having a pretty good year, regardless of what his yardage says.
I don't even care about the yardage.
I don't give it. I want to see more. Minus the 1 goal line run that Zeke had. I want to see runs that Zeke had this last game coming this Sunday.
Look,
against the Jaguars.
I love how Zeke's been running, but I love the tough run game, the winning when they're winning these short run game battles. So, for example, Zeke and Tony Pollard had a really good interview with both of them, and it was interesting because Zeke mentioned even in that interview that last year it took him some time to warm up to the idea of Tony Pollard getting some touches. So like this is shit that happens in the back that
you never
don't really
know.
hear. And of course your top running back says, hey, don't give away my touches in any way that they mention that. It's going to affect the gameplay, right? Like there is that type of keeping people happy and keeping a locker room in
full.
Yeah, well,
cohesive,
exactly. So hearing that, it was interesting because we do see this kind of shift this year, and it did happen a little bit because Zeke got injured again, and Tony Pollard showed up to play football.
Yep.
And now you move forward and you're like, okay, like we can't ignore, you said it, Anth.
Yeah.
You just can't ignore it anymore. This guy is too good to not be giving the ball 15 plus times a game.
Yeah, the same amount. Like they had to split carries at that point.
And anyways, I think in that conversation, it was just interesting. I think I got off my point a little bit, my original point, but
I wasn't listening to begin with.
I know.
Oops.
It doesn't matter.
I know what you mean. They're better off both these guys running the ball, which plays right into our point. I think we're going to hop out of here. Nate, we loved having you on. Yeah. Always a blast to have you on.
Y'all know the
Appreciate it.
rules.
Thank you.
Show up pregame, drop your bold predictions and your score predictions. We're giving away shirts if anybody lands on that scoring prediction. Sunday, we're doing an hour before a game.
And we always say that'll be like more like 9:15, 9:25, something like that. But yeah, hour before, come see us.
At least a half hour. At least
We're at least half hour. At least a half hour.
Thanks, Cowboy Nation.
Okay, see you guys. We'll see you Sunday. Let's go get that win.